They look perfect on camera, but off-screen, some of Hollywood's biggest stars left their co-stars literally gagging. From skipping basic hygiene to bizarre rituals like hemorrhoid cream and bird-dropping facials, these 21 A-listers shocked co-stars with odors no one could ignore. Number 21. Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp decided early in the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise that a real pirate wouldn't waste time on dental hygiene or regular washing, so he wasn't going to either. For months of filming, he let his hair go unwashed, skipped the toothbrush entirely, and wore clothes that hadn't seen soap since day one of production. Orlando Bloom, spending countless sword-fighting scenes face-to-face with Depp, started arriving with a personal assistant whose entire job was spraying air freshener in Depp's direction between takes. The costume department gave up cleaning his signature Captain Jack coat, deciding the grime added character, though the smell that soaked into the wardrobe trailer required industrial fans running all night. Years later, during The Tourist, Angelina Jolie discovered Depp hadn't retired the philosophy along with the pirate hat. She started hiding Listerine strips inside her costume, slipping them to Depp between setups like a covert operation. She tried offering mints as casually as possible, but nothing solved the problem. Number 20. Brad Pitt. The man voted sexiest man alive, abandoned deodorant for a homemade mixture of apple cider vinegar and lemon water, convinced aluminum-based products were aging him from the inside out. Instead of showers, he opted for wet wipe baths. Brad Pitt uses beer as hair conditioner and clay as shampoo, building an entire grooming routine from kitchen pantry items. His reasoning came from deep skepticism about toxic chemicals in everyday products, believing they harmed the environment and accelerated skin aging. Angelina Jolie tolerated the vinegar applications until the smell started affecting her morning sickness during pregnancy. Their 6 children had even less patience, christening him Stinky Daddy and launching what became the Great Hygiene Rebellion of 2011, ambushing him with Irish Spring soap and spraying Chanel No. 5 in his direction like tiny, well-groomed rebels. Pitt found it endearing, which made things worse because he didn't change a thing, adding baking soda to his growing arsenal of kitchen cabinet toiletries. Number 19. Sandra Bullock. Sandra Bullock's makeup bag holds a tube of Preparation H right next to her high-end serums, and she reaches for the hemorrhoid cream first. The Academy Award winner discovered this beauty hack on the set of Miss Congeniality, when a makeup artist noticed her puffy morning eyes and pulled out what Bullock assumed was expensive French eye cream. The reveal that she'd been rubbing medical-grade ointment designed for a very different body part on her face left her laughing so hard she nearly needed more under-eye treatment. The cream's anti-inflammatory properties, built to reduce swelling in sensitive areas, work identically on eye bags, delivering results that rival products costing hundreds of dollars more. Her dedication to this unconventional method hit panic levels before the 2010 Oscars when her assistant forgot to pack the magic tube. 3 separate Walgreens stores were cleared of their entire Preparation H stock as her team scrambled to get her camera ready in time. Her makeup artists now label the tubes as Swiss eye treatment after several visiting celebrities nearly fainted upon spotting hemorrhoid cream lined up next to the premium skincare. Bullock finds the whole situation hilarious, joking that her red carpet glow comes from the pharmacy's most embarrassing aisle, while other actresses drop thousands on treatments that don't work half as well. Number 18. Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise keeps bird poop in a temperature-controlled refrigerator in his trailer, and somehow that's not the strangest part of this story. The Mission Impossible star discovered the geisha facial, an ancient Japanese beauty treatment that involves nightingale droppings carefully spread across the face, and became so devoted that he allegedly spends over $300 per session to have bird excrement applied to his skin. Victoria Beckham's public endorsement of the treatment apparently gave him the celebrity cosign he needed to fully commit, and he went all in, installing a special cooling system to keep the droppings at optimal potency between sessions. Spa technicians who've reportedly administered the treatment describe Cruise sitting in complete zen, meditating peacefully while covered in bird waste, reaching a state of calm that would make most people dry heave. The treatment supposedly contains enzymes that exfoliate dead skin cells, though scientists have pointed out that you could achieve similar results without involving anything that came out of a bird. What makes the whole thing stranger is Cruise's famous obsession with controlling his public image, yet he's apparently willing to sit with feces on his face for 30 minutes at a time. Whether it's responsible for his ageless appearance or just Hollywood's most expensive placebo, nobody can argue with the results on camera. Number 17. Marilyn Monroe. Marilyn Monroe's beauty routine included diamonds, red lipstick, and a complete rejection of deodorant that left her smelling nothing like the Chanel No. 5 she famously wore to bed. She was convinced antiperspirants were toxic chemicals slowly poisoning women, so she let nature handle things under those iconic white dresses. Her mental health struggles, anxiety, insomnia, and substance abuse made things worse, often leading to days of skipping even the most basic self-care. Her housekeeper reported finding her in the same nightgown 3 days running, platinum hair matted against her head. Tony Curtis delivered the most brutal review any leading man ever gave his co-star, comparing kissing Monroe during Some Like It Hot to kissing Hitler. The jab was entirely about aroma. Curtis would excuse himself between takes just to breathe somewhere else. Director Billy Wilder scheduled her close-ups for early morning when her scent was least pronounced, and makeup artists positioned fans around her for ventilation rather than glamour. Costume designers loaded perfume and scented powders onto her clothes. Number 16. Russell Crowe. Russell Crowe's Oscar sits on a shelf at home, but his deodorant apparently sits on a store shelf, permanently untouched. The Gladiator star adopts whatever bathing habits he imagines his characters would have had, which, for a Roman gladiator, a Depression-era boxer, and a biblical figure, meant months of accumulated grime. During Gladiator, cast members reported visible dust clouds when he moved quickly, extras received hazard pay, and Joaquin Phoenix insisted on separate transportation. Ridley Scott tried addressing it diplomatically and got a lecture about authentic warrior musk. During Cinderella Man, Renee Zellweger requested a body double for intimate scenes, claiming she wanted to preserve mystery for audiences. The body double lasted 2 days before requesting hazard pay. Noah Crowe argued that the biblical figure wouldn't have had soap for 40 days and nights. Jennifer Connelly held her breath during their scenes, turning unintentionally red-faced in ways that worked for her character. Emma Watson refused any takes that weren't strictly necessary. Joan Rivers turned the whole situation into comedy gold on talk shows. Crowe seemed genuinely puzzled by all the fuss, but his rap party invitation list has reportedly gotten shorter with every film. Number 15. Britney Spears. Britney Spears commanded stages worldwide, but backstage, her former bodyguard claimed she was leaving people breathless for different reasons. Fernando Flores filed a 2011 lawsuit alleging the pop princess treated showers as optional, deodorant as the enemy, and toothbrushing as something that could wait indefinitely. According to Flores, her offstage presence announced itself through stale cigarette smoke, layered over body odor that no signature perfume could mask. He also alleged she neglected her hair for days and had a habit of walking barefoot everywhere. Her team denied everything. The barefoot gas station incident sealed her place in this conversation forever. Paparazzi caught her padding through a Los Angeles gas station bathroom in 2004 without shoes, emerging with visibly dirty feet, completely unbothered. The photos burned into pop culture history. Those who worked with her during the Vegas residency whispered about special protocols to manage what staff called the situation. Backup dancers learned positioning strategies for group numbers, her glam team became experts with dry shampoo, and costume changes happened at lightning speed to minimize how long outfits absorbed the situation before being swapped out. Number 14. Megan Fox. Megan Fox's bathroom habits would make a college roommate file for a transfer. The Transformers star freely admits she doesn't flush toilets after use, leaving surprises for the next person like the worst possible version of a scavenger hunt. Her ex-husband Brian Austin Green tried solving the problem by installing automatic flush sensors throughout their mansion, only to discover Fox had figured out how to disable every single one because the sudden noise startled her. The house ended up with bathroom rules posted on every door, written in what Green described as increasingly desperate attempts to remind her of basic etiquette. The situation followed her to work. Her trailers on movie sets required a full-time sanitation assistant whose only job was checking the bathroom after Fox used it. The assistant reportedly described it as the worst job in Hollywood, though the hazard pay made it tolerable. Green tried everything from gentle reminders to hiring a psychologist who specialized in bathroom anxiety, but Fox remained completely unmoved, treating the whole thing like a quirky personality trait. Plumbers became so familiar with their home address that they started sending holiday cards, and their housekeeper reportedly asked for hazard pay of her own. Number 13. Shia LaBeouf. Shia LaBeouf's tank in Fury wasn't the only thing on set that reeked of warfare. The actor refused to shower for 3 months while filming, claiming World War II soldiers wouldn't have had access to hygiene products, so he transformed himself into a walking biological hazard that made everyone around him reconsider their career choices. Brad Pitt, John Bernthal, and Michael Pena initially respected the commitment until they had to share a cramped tank set with him for 12-hour days. Anonymous care packages started appearing outside his trailer: soap, deodorant, even industrial-strength body wipes. But LaBeouf saw them as attacks on his artistic integrity and doubled down, refusing to wash his costume and packing authentic dirt under his fingernails. His co-stars developed a rotation system for tank scenes, limiting each person's time in what Bernthal called the LaBeouf zone to prevent actual illness. This wasn't even his first hygiene sacrifice. During Sia's Elastic Heart music video, 12-year-old Maddie Ziegler had to perform contemporary dance routines requiring full physical contact with him. She diplomatically suggested wet wipes between takes. LaBeouf refused, insisting his natural state enhanced the video's raw emotional truth. Ziegler later said she learned to breathe through her mouth for the entire shoot, a survival skill that served her well in future projects. Number 12. Viggo Mortensen. Viggo Mortensen disappeared so completely into Aragorn that he forgot indoor plumbing existed. For 18 months of Lord of the Rings filming in New Zealand, the method actor lived the way he imagined a real ranger would, sleeping under the stars, wearing the same costume for days straight, and treating dirt as a natural accessory. He'd arrive at Peter Jackson's set each morning already looking weathered and filthy, saving the makeup department hours of work since he'd been cultivating authentic grime overnight. The makeup team eventually surrendered entirely, realizing that trying to apply fake dirt over Mortensen's real accumulation was pointless. Sean Bean started hiding car air fresheners inside his Boromir costume after their first sword training session in close quarters. Orlando Bloom mastered the art of upwind positioning during group shots, and the hobbits formed a protective buffer zone during feast scenes. The strangest twist came years later during Captain Fantastic promotion, when his younger co-stars revealed a completely different Mortensen, one who smelled like green tea and yerba mate, who actually used soap, and whose trailer didn't require a hazmat warning. When asked about the transformation, Mortensen simply smiled and said Aragorn was behind him now. His Lord of the Rings castmates wished the memories of his smell were behind them too. Number 11. Robert Pattinson. Robert Pattinson's transformation into Edward Cullen included adopting the hygiene habits of someone who'd actually been dead for a century. His signature tousled hair wasn't achieved with expensive styling products, but by simply not washing it, letting natural oils build up until they created what he called authentic vampire texture. Cast members joked you could track how many days into shooting they were by the increasing height of his hair. He wore the same outfit for days at a time, convinced it helped him stay in character, and the wardrobe department discovered he'd been sleeping in his costume to achieve a lived-in vampire look. Their solution was brilliantly sneaky. They ordered multiple identical outfits and started swapping them while he slept, literally stealing his clothes to wash them. Kristen Stewart, dealing with her own approach to cleanliness, still found Pattinson's methods excessive. The baseball scene in the first film hit peak intensity when Pattinson had gone 5 days without showering because he felt vampires wouldn't sweat. Makeup artists started arriving early for what they called damage control, burning through bottles of dry shampoo and fabric refresher. Years later, Pattinson admitted the whole thing was disgusting, though he seemed more amused than sorry about traumatizing everyone around him. Number 10. Jake Gyllenhaal. Jake Gyllenhaal casually dropped a hygiene bomb during a 2021 Vanity Fair interview, mentioning that daily showers were overrated and actually strip away beneficial bacteria the body needs. The Nightcrawler star treats bathing like an optional activity, arguing the body's natural cleaning systems should be left to do their work. He draws a hard line at dental care, brushing and flossing religiously. But everything below the neck apparently operates on its own schedule. His skin, he claims, has never looked better since cutting back on showers, attributing a natural glow to preserved oils that soap would destroy. Tom Holland got a first-hand education during Spider-Man, far from home fight scenes, diplomatically describing Gyllenhaal's presence as authentic intensity, while carefully avoiding what that intensity actually smelled like. The costume department had to create multiple Mysterio suits, rotating them frequently to manage what they delicately called accumulation. Gossip columnists revisited his dating history after the interview, and fans started wondering if Taylor Swift's All Too Well contained hidden references to sensory memories beyond emotional ones. Their relationship lasted 3 months in 2010. The 10-minute version of the song includes vivid details that suddenly felt like they might involve more than just heartbreak. Number 9. Kristen Stewart. Kristen Stewart's hair carries enough natural oil to probably fuel a small engine. The Twilight actress treats shampoo like a hostile substance, going days without washing her hair until it reaches what she calls authentic grunge texture. Her approach to clothing follows the same philosophy. She wears the same outfit for days, insisting that re-wearing gives clothes character. During press tours, handlers started packing emergency dry shampoo and wet wipes, though Stewart would wave them away more often than not. She sees her natural state as a rebellion against Hollywood's impossible beauty standards, a deliberate rejection of the pressure to look and smell like a perfume advertisement at all times. The people sharing her breathing space might argue she's created a different kind of impossible standard, but Stewart remains unbothered, treating every suggestion of a shower the same way she treats most Hollywood expectations, with a shrug and a hard pass. Number 8. Bradley Cooper. Bradley Cooper showers 3 times a day and still manages to offend every nose in the room. The Hangover star starts with a 5 a.m. scrub, follows up with a post-gym rinse after his notorious 2-hour workouts, and finishes with a full cleanse before bed. That sounds like the routine of someone obsessively clean until you learn he refuses to put on deodorant during any of those 3 sessions. His theory is that aluminum-based antiperspirants sabotage the body's natural detox process, trapping toxins that need to escape through sweat. So he showers constantly but lets nature run wild between washes, creating a cycle of fresh to funky that keeps everyone around him guessing which version of Cooper they're about to encounter. Jennifer Lawrence, his Silver Linings Playbook co-star, once gifted him a crystal deodorant stone as a joke, which he actually tried before deciding it messed with his chemical balance. Lady Gaga perfected the art of strategic positioning during A Star Is Born promotion, always managing to stand slightly upwind during photo ops. Photographers started noticing what they called the lean-away hug, where Gaga would maintain the appearance of closeness for the cameras while maximizing actual physical distance. Cooper remains convinced his approach is the healthier choice, citing vague studies about antiperspirant dangers, while his assistants quietly stock his trailers with industrial fans and strategically placed air fresheners that he apparently never connects to himself. Number 7. Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis. Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis judge their children's bath schedule the way most people check the oil level in a car.
Mila Kunis and Ashton Kutcher's hygiene routine is raising eyebrows as they admit to skipping showers and teaching their kids to do the same.
If you can't see anything wrong, don't touch it. The couple announced to the world that visible dirt is the only benchmark for bathing in their household, sending shockwaves through parenting forums everywhere. Kutcher himself only washes his armpits and groin daily with a bar of Lever 2000 soap, treating the rest of his 6'2" frame like it's self-cleaning equipment that doesn't need human intervention. Their kids, Wyatt and Dimitri, became unknowing participants in this experiment, getting the shampoo treatment only when the evidence was physically visible on their skin. Kunis grew up without hot water, so she never developed the American obsession with daily showers. Now worth hundreds of millions, she could bathe in champagne but chooses to barely bathe at all. Pediatricians rushed to the microphones to clarify that visible dirt shouldn't be the standard for children's hygiene, but the couple remained completely unmoved. Kutcher proudly stated he just splashes water on his face after workouts and calls it a day. Their shared philosophy has presumably saved thousands on the water bill, while creating what must be an interesting aromatic situation inside their Beverly Hills mansion. Number 6. Julia Roberts. Julia Roberts goes up to 4 days without letting water touch her body, and she'd like you to know it's for the planet. The Pretty Woman star treats her hygiene like a drought conservation effort, limiting herself to quick rinses every few days and filling the gaps with essential oils that she hopes will cover what nature is producing underneath. Former bodyguards have described her as a total hippie, though they used less flattering words when discussing the aromatic consequences of her eco-friendly lifestyle. Her famous auburn hair gets the same treatment. Roberts insists her locks benefit from natural scalp oils that shampoo would cruelly strip away, and she's admitted to genuinely loving the smell of her unwashed hair, calling it earthy authenticity. Stylists describe it differently, usually while wearing medical masks during fittings. During Eat, Pray, Love filming, the crew initially assumed Roberts was doing method acting for the ashram scenes, fully embodying the unwashed spiritual seeker lifestyle for the camera. They later learned she was like this everywhere, from Italian villas to Hollywood sound stages. Number 5. Matthew McConaughey. Matthew McConaughey hasn't touched a stick of deodorant in over 22 years, and he's not just unapologetic about it, he's proud. The Texas native is fully convinced his natural musk attracts women the way honey attracts bears, and nothing anyone says or does has shaken that belief. His female co-stars tell a different story, one that usually involves strategic breathing techniques and silent prayers for outdoor scenes with a decent breeze. Kate Hudson got the full McConaughey experience during Fool's Gold filming in tropical heat. After their first shirtless scene together, she arrived the next day armed with every natural, aluminum-free deodorant alternative she could find, desperately searching for something he'd accept. He examined each one like a scientist reviewing lab samples before rejecting them all, explaining that masking his scent would be like hiding his soul. Hudson later admitted she started chewing enormous amounts of mint gum during their scenes, not for her own breath, but to create a menthol barrier in her nostrils. Number 4. Cameron Diaz. Cameron Diaz hasn't let deodorant anywhere near her armpits since the Clinton administration. The Charlie's Angels star believes antiperspirants trap toxins in the body like tiny aluminum prisons, clogging pores that desperately need to breathe. Her solution to the inevitable consequences involves wearing the same outfit for 4 straight days, then throwing it away entirely rather than washing it, a disposal method that contradicts basically every environmental stance she's ever publicly taken. Lucy Liu and Drew Barrymore staged what they called the deodorant intervention of 2002 during Charlie's Angels filming, gifting Diaz dozens of natural alternatives. She rejected every single one, explaining that her body had achieved its own bacterial balance that shouldn't be disturbed. The wardrobe department on the other woman discovered she'd been secretly re-wearing the same undergarments beneath different costumes, creating continuity nightmares when sweat stains started showing through on camera. They instituted a new policy requiring actors to surrender all clothing at wrap, though Diaz still managed to smuggle out her favorites. Leslie Mann admitted they scheduled Diaz's close-ups for early morning, before her natural approach could fully develop under the studio lights. Number 3. Jennifer Aniston. Jennifer Aniston drinks 6 cups of coffee a day, and the real cost isn't the Starbucks bill. It's paid by anyone who has to stand within breathing distance. The Friends star's caffeine devotion has created breath so concentrated with espresso fumes that co-stars have learned to time their scenes around her consumption schedule, knowing that post-latte Aniston requires tactical planning and defensive positioning. Jason Bateman learned this the hard way during The Switch when their kissing scene turned into an involuntary coffee tasting. He stopped mid-take, pulled out a mint with perfect comedic timing, and suggested they freshen the scene while the crew fell apart laughing. By horrible bosses, Bateman showed up prepared with what he called Aniston insurance, a pocket stuffed with breath strips he'd slip her between takes. Aniston treats the whole thing like a charming trademark, arriving on set clutching her 4th venti of the morning while makeup artists position themselves upwind. She joked that her kissing scenes should come with a Starbucks sponsorship, though her leading men might argue they deserve hazard pay instead. Number 2. Joan Fontaine. Joan Fontaine's dressing room at RKO Studios smelled like a 5-day protest against soap. The Oscar winner for Suspicion treated bathing like a personal rebellion against Hollywood's suffocating control, convinced that studio executives had no business telling her when to wash. She firmly believed chemicals and perfumed products stripped her skin of precious natural oils, so she simply stopped using them. Her assistant once found her proudly announcing she hadn't touched water in 5 days, treating it like an achievement worth celebrating rather than a confession worth whispering. Alfred Hitchcock discovered this aromatic challenge while directing Rebecca, when Fontaine arrived on set, trailing a cloud that sent crew members scrambling for tasks on the other side of the soundstage. He tried positioning fans and scheduling scenes near open windows, but nothing worked. His assistant resorted to spraying so much perfume around the set that the perfume fog made everyone's eyes water. Laurence Olivier handled things with British politeness, which mostly meant secretly holding his breath during their intimate scenes. The costume department kept multiple identical outfits ready, swapping them behind Fontaine's back, while George Cukor's assistant on another production spent her days walking around with a perfume bottle, spraying the air wherever Fontaine stood. Number 1. Clark Gable. Clark Gable's smile sold more movie tickets than any marketing campaign in Golden Age Hollywood. But behind that famous smile was a dental nightmare that haunted every actress who had to kiss him. By the time he landed the role of Rhett Butler, severe gum disease had already destroyed most of his original teeth. Years of chain smoking, rough nutrition during his early struggling days, and practically non-existent dental care had rotted his gums beyond saving. The replacements he wore for the rest of his career were crafted from vulcanized rubber and porcelain, materials that absorbed smells the way a kitchen sponge soaks up grease, and released them with the same enthusiasm. Vivien Leigh suffered the most during Gone with the Wind. She told friends privately that kissing Gable felt like pressing her face against a garbage disposal nobody had cleaned in months. Makeup artists started hiding peppermint oil around the set, which Leigh would secretly dab under her nose between takes. Director Victor Fleming rearranged the entire shooting schedule, pushing every kissing scene to dawn when Gable's mouth was at its least offensive. The famous staircase scene needed 17 takes, not for dramatic perfection, but because Leigh kept turning away at crucial moments, claiming she needed to adjust her corset when she was really gasping for clean air. Audiences never knew that Leigh deserved a second Oscar just for keeping a straight face. Don't miss the videos on screen now. They're just as interesting. Catch you in the next one.